In a family, society, nation, when there is no room for good moral conduct, contentment, leadership, and mentorship, this leads to disaster. Welcome to the program, The Viewpoint with Precious Ayembe. What is The Viewpoint with Precious Ayembe? It is a program that talks about personalities' life, where they share the life experiences that motivate viewers on how we can have a better society, a better nation, and learn from their experiences. On today's edition of the program, we have a distinguished personality. Oh, you know what? I'm going to keep you on the suspense. Right back, we will introduce our guest to you. Our guest on the program is a distinguished military leader who has left an indelible mark on Nigerian history. As a former Chief of Army Staff and Chief of Defense Staff of the Nigerian Army, his exceptional leadership and service had earned him numerous accolades and recognition. Born in 1948, to the family of Marlon Agwai Gida Manor, General Martin Luther rose through the ranks of the Nigerian Army, demonstrating exceptional leadership and strategic prowess. His illustrious career spans several decades, with notable appointments including Chief of Army Staff from 2003 to 2006 and the Chief of Defense Staff. Achievement and legacy. General Martin Luther's tenure was marked by significant milestones, including reforms and modernization. He implemented reforms aimed at modernizing the Nigerian Army, enhancing its operational efficiency and effectiveness. Peacekeeping and national cooperation. General Martin Luther played a crucial role in Nigerian peacekeeping efforts, fostering collaborations with international partners to promote regional stability. National security. He contributed significantly to Nigerian national security, overseeing key operations and strategies to address emergency threats. Awards and recognition. General Martin's outstanding service has been recognized with prestigious awards, including the Commander of the Federal Republic, CFR, and the National Board of Members of the Order of the Niger, NAM. General Martin Luther Gray has spoken publicly about the importance of leadership and integrity. He has been vocal about the need for effective leadership and good governance in Nigeria. We honor his selfless dedication to Nigerian growth and development. His legacy serves as a testament to the importance of leadership, patriotism, and service to one nation. Martin Luther's hobbies include horse riding, reading, hiking, photography, music, watching sports, and wildlife. He is married to Miss Ruth Agwai and blessed with children and grandchildren. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
So good to have you. So we're going to start from your early life and career. You were born 1984 and you rose through the rank of the Nigerian Army. You demonstrated an exceptional leadership and strategist poise, which limited the career spans of several decades, with notable appointments including the Chief of Army Staff from 2003 and 2006 and the Chief of Defense Staff. So how did you feel about this, sir?
Well, I think I feel good, but also, you know, every young person who joins any profession, particularly the military profession, everybody hopes to rise to the top. And I remember in 1970, when we got into Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna, we were given army equipment, and there is something we call the kit bag. It has all the kits inside you need for the military training, compass, binoculars, protractors, and everything that you need, including what we call mess tin. That is where you put your food. And we were told that inside that kit bag, there's also the staff of office of the Chief of Army Staff. And it depends on how you go about looking and trying to find out. One of us in that course may be able to find one. Or some courses, nobody among them ever finds one. So on that lighter note, I think I was lucky to be able to find in my own kit bag the office of the Chief of Army Staff and the office of the Defense Staff.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is why I feel, well, I'm lucky and I feel good about it, that among the whole of our group, I was the luckiest to be able to trace mine.
Wow. So what has shaping your mindset? Because actually, you know, when when the child is growing up, people always say, "Oh, this is going to be a great child." So how has it got to shaping your mental, your mindset, your aspiration to desire greatness in the pursuit of your careers?
Well, I think, frankly speaking, I think I have so few things I think about leadership,
Oh.
and I think about people being mentored, and our greatest leaders and our greatest mentors, we first know our parents. So I will think, for whatsoever I've acquired and whatsoever I was lucky in the process to achieve, I think my parents and my parental development and what my parents stood for actually helped me a lot. First and foremost, I grew up in the barracks. But that is not an automatic qualification. What I saw in my father, how he was dressed, looking smart, and in his uniform, colonial uniform in that time, I was also looking forward to that. But above all, what my mother stood for. She stood for integrity, credibility, and honesty. And my father was also there. He stood for hard work, dedication, and with that, I think help. I'll give you a story about the issue of honesty of I grew up with. I remember in 1955, and I was in primary one. One of my classmates, we became very friendly, and his father was better, well-to-do than my own father. His father was a policeman, just as my father. My father was a constable at that time, and his father was an inspector in 1955. Not very many Nigerians were in that rank. So we became so friendly. And one day he gave me a pencil, and I took that pencil home. And my mother saw me with a pencil and asked me, where did I get that pencil? And I said, my friend gave me. She said, am I sure? I said, yes, my friend gave me. I thought it was over. The next morning I was preparing to go to school. My mother said, oh yeah, let's go. So I went to school with my mother. And she said, when we go to the school, she said I should show her who gave me the pencil. So I went to my friend and I told him my mother. So my mother brought the pencil and asked, did you give my son this pencil? She said, yes.
Wow.
He said, because we're friends and I didn't need it. So she went home and that was how I had peace. Could you then imagine if my mother found out that I stole or it was not given to me?
What
would have happened? Oh, from there, I really know what she stands with, honesty and credibility, that it should be trusted by people.
Come on, I appreciate this. That is so beautiful. Because now, let me just speak from this what your narration from your parents now. Now, do you think we have such moral conduct, such leadership, such mentorship, such in a way that mothers can say to the children, the child, because look at a lot of atrocity going on today. Do you think the parents have deviated from their responsibilities, and why?
Well, I do not want to say, like most people say, that yesterday was better than today. That in our yesteryears, the country was better, there was more sincerity. But I want to put it in this way, that as every period of your development comes with its own challenges. How do you face it? Because today, most mothers are working mothers. And most mothers are struggling so hard to also reach the pyramid or the zenith, the top of the pyramid or the zenith of their profession or what they are doing. So sometimes they find it difficult to balance the two, the upbringing of the children and the struggle to reach the top at the place of their work. So sometimes it's a challenge, I think, but I believe that even with that notwithstanding, parents should be able to monitor their children. They should be able to set the standard and should be able to draw the red line that the children cannot pass. But sometimes what you see these days is that parents try to bribe their children. Oh, don't do that. If you do that, I will not buy you biscuit. I will not take you to the shop. If it is bad, tell him don't and tell him why you think it's bad for him to do what he's doing. I think that is what I would say is missing.
Oh, that's good, that's good. No, thank you so much. Now, sir, we're going to go through your leadership and military career. So what are your challenges and you want to share to our viewers and how to encourage our viewers watching right now?
Well, I think before I talk about challenges, I will always say, I don't know, I still believe in this issue called luck. I have been very lucky. Wow. In the sense that I think I got adequate training and adequate exposure to be able to rise and to the challenges of that office. For example, I had virtually all the courses that were required at my level. I did the junior staff course. I did the senior staff course. I did a diploma in basic armor, which is the armored corps. Then I went back to in US. I went back to US to do an advanced course in that same field. And I also was trained in UK. I went to do a gunnery instructor's course, which prepared me as a gunner that can teach people how to fight and how to fire and how to maneuver with the equipment. I also had the opportunity of going to the staff college and in Jaji in Nigeria. I went to junior staff and senior staff, and because I was earmarked to be what they call directing staff, to go back to that institution to train others, I was given an opportunity to go to a comparative staff college. So I went to a second staff college in Camberley in UK. And I went to the US Army, UK school, science and technology, that prepares officers who will go to Pacific Corps. And then, but I went to the general one, which gives everybody the understanding of what science and technology can bring into the military. And after that, I was able to go to the National Defense University in the US. And that really opened my eyes to strategic leadership, and where they taught us how you can see beyond the curve. When the road is curving, you can't see it. But the training is really how can you see beyond the curve. Based on experience and other things, you can be able to predict that beyond this curve, there are these challenges. So I think with that preparation, which Nigerian military and Nigerian government invested in me, I think I was able, and then the deployment I had commanded a platoon. That time it was called the Recce, which became the Armored Corps. I commanded a troop which is what they call a platoon. I commanded a squadron, which is what we call a company today. I was an adjutant of a regiment, which gave me issue of administering people and looking at discipline within the organization. I was a brigade major, which gave me an opportunity to know how to organize training for the whole brigade. And I was a colonel GS of a division, which gave me the opportunity to know about training and about operations, how you can do it at a joint level. And I went to Nigerian War College, which prepares me for operational leadership. So I think along tactical, operational, and strategic training, I really got it. So I thank the Army for the exposure. And by the time I got the challenge now to get into the seat to be the Chief of Army Staff, I have really been exposed and my mind has been broadened that now I was ready to go to face the challenges practically. And with the world that we live, very dynamic world, you will find out that there's no enough of training that will, it will help you, but it will not give you the answer to what happens in the future. So these were the challenges, but I think I'll thank the government, I'll thank Nigerian Army, I'll thank the armed forces for the exposure I have that prepared me. So if I had any achievement, it was just a payback to the exposure that the government gave me.
That is so fun. You know, that was our next question for you. Because our next question, like, okay, how did your experience shaping your leadership? That was a question. I don't know if you want just 1 second on that to run it up.
Well, the training, as I've said, actually helped me. And then the exposure, and above all, I will be honest to say the team, my colleagues that worked with me, the team that I found on the ground and those I subsequently appoint were very helpful. I believe in teamwork, and the military itself is a teamwork. There is no way you can fight any war, or even internal or external, alone. You need so many other people's support. So I was lucky that my team also worked in harmony. And what I encourage them, and I encourage everybody, is loyalty does not mean that you should tell your boss or your commander what he wants to hear. Real loyalty is to tell him how bitter it may be, in a very composed and calm and respectful way, but in a firm way, to tell your boss, to tell your commander, to tell your superior the truth. And from there, he can use his experience to adjust to what you want to happen.
Thank you, sir. So you played a key role in several peacekeeping. So how can you share some insight for us?
Well, let me also say, as I was growing up in the army, I remember as a captain, there was a plan that Nigeria may participate in a peacekeeping role in then Southwestern Africa, that is now Namibia. And I was actually, my boss, who at that time, who later on became the president of Nigeria, I mean President Babangida, General Babangida, he then gave me a task of forming a program, and then we selected possible people of how to train them and everything. So I was so happy. I said, after all this, I'm sure we'll go to Namibia, and I will be able to put into practice what I have theoretically taught this group. Unfortunately, when the time comes, Nigeria was not even on the list of the countries that were going to Namibia. Wow. So I never did. Nigeria also, then I turned again, we were going to Chad for a helping Chad. Again, my name was not among the list. So I rose up to major, colonel, lieutenant colonel, colonel. By the time I became a full colonel, I've given up that I will never be in peacekeeping. Then, boom, as a brigadier general, as a major general, I found myself going to New York to go for an interview to become a deputy force commander in Sierra Leone. And if you have followed the story of Sierra Leone, they have gone through a very bitter war where they were chopping people's hands, long sleeve or short sleeve. Short sleeve is to cut your hand from here, and long sleeve is to cut your hand from here. That was the situation I found myself now going to Sierra Leone as a deputy force commander. And that was also after a disaster where the rebels actually either kidnapped or overrun some of the peacekeepers, took some as hostages, but cutted most of their equipment. So that was the situation I found myself as a deputy force commander. But it was an interesting experience. Again, I had a good team. My force commander was a lieutenant general then by name Okwande from Kenya. And the head of mission, the overall head of mission, then was a Nigerian. He later on became Nigerian foreign minister, Ambassador Ola Oliyemi became, he was the special representative of the Secretary General in Sierra Leone. So with their support, guidance, and with the exposure and the risk-taking that, calculated risk-taking that I got involved, we were able to do what nobody expected would happen. For example, when the rebels, they were encouraged to surrender and have a ceasefire and disarmament, everybody expected that in the diamond area called Kono district in Sierra Leone, that the rebels would not give up there without a fight. But by relationship that we have developed, some confidence building and everything, for somehow the rebel leadership trusted me. And gradually they start, if they have challenges, they started sending me secret notes. They started seeing how we can help. And in the process, they developed trust and confidence in me. And so when the issue of disarmament started, we started elsewhere, but Kono, we were then waiting for the Pakistanis to come with gun-shift, artillery, and other pieces for, if need be, there will be a fight. But we started, as a joke, I started going through, the rebels were complaining that we were not being impartial, that we were being partial in the implementation of the peace talk. Because when the government militia complain, we will quickly go to inspect and issue a statement. But when they complain, nobody cares. So the answer was that, oh, but we don't trust the rebels. So if we get there, what will happen? So one day I braced up and I accepted to go to the rebel side. And now, how to get there? We have to fly. And people say, no, it's dangerous. The rebels may shoot down our helicopters and they kill us. Or when we get there, they could take us hostages because Fede Sanko, who was their leader, was under government detention. So they may kill us and now want to swap So I told them, swapping prisoner by the rebel and anything, the mission can take care. But shooting down a helicopter, I will take care of that. So I asked the rebels, I want them to come to take me to their leader. And when they brought the list, and I want the list of those who will go with me in the helicopter. And when they brought the list, and I saw they put the name of their woman leader on the list, I was confident that they would never shoot that aircraft, that helicopter. And it never happened. That's why you see me today.
Amen.
So we went, we flew and went to the rebel enclave where we met their interim leader, Issa Sese. And I was given a wonderful reception. The whole of them on the parade, on the stadion in Kwedu. And it came a carnival, dancing and everything. I went and saw them. They gave me outriders to take me to their leader. And that is how we developed a rapport that we had disarmament within 30 days in Kono district. No gunshot was fired.